While Amy and her ex canoodle, Ricky is doing some serious soul searching.
He said, I cannot handle her living with me anymore. She just is out of control.
Ricky decides to break up with Amy for his own sake.
He would always take care of the baby. That was never going to be a problem, but he was at the point where he didn't want to keep fighting and being manipulated.
But Ricky will never have the chance to deliver that news.
What's up, Panic Fam? I'm Hannah. And if it's 2 a.m., the lights are off and the popcorn is gone cold, you know, it's Panic TV time. Welcome. If you survived this, and this, congratulations, all right? Congratulations. But your luck runs out here.
Amy Preasmyer is an all-American teenage girl.
She was a pretty girl, attractive, athletic, bright.
But at 16, sweet Amy turned sour.
Amy, she has a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of a personality.
And once nice turns to naughty, this party girl grows up way too fast.
She always got her way.
This is my house, get out!
You know, she's gonna get her way or it's gonna make your life miserable. She is a sociopath.
Lancaster, California. This desert community, 70 miles north of Los Angeles, is most famous for being the home to the country's only musical road. This quarter-mile stretch of highway is built to play the William Tell Overture, which can be heard as cars travel down the road. But on August 12, 1997, an unmistakably shrill sound pierces the night.
911, where's your emergency?
It's 16-year-old Amy Preasmyer.
Was there any blood, Amy? Yes, she said there's blood everywhere. What I need you to do.
The pregnant teen has returned home with friends to discover the father of her unborn child, Ricky Cowles Jr., has been brutally attacked.
Amy is beyond beside herself. She's screaming, she's yelling into the phone. She can barely get out to explain what happened.
We just couldn't imagine who would have wanted to do this, who could have done this.
Saturday.
And we're totally gonna trample them.
Growing up, Amy Preasmyer appears to be the perfect daughter.
It's a good event. Report card.
Uh-oh, dun, dun,
She was a good student. She played on different sports teams. So on paper, she looked fantastic.
But the good girl has a selfish side.
She was the youngest of 2 children, raised in a 2-parent home. But she was extremely spoiled. She was very spoiled by her parents. She was manipulative and not used to hearing the word no.
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Preasmyer.
And behind that picture-perfect facade
Finally.
is a party girl.
All right, what are we getting into tonight?
Amy liked excitement. She liked to have fun and she liked to party. She had a lot of rope given to her as a teenager.
Amy especially loves to hang with her troublemaking older pal, Jennifer Kellogg.
Jennifer had a bad side.
Amy was starting to lead a double life, but it wasn't that big a shift because apparently Mom and Dad weren't holding her toes too close to the fire at home.
In late December 1996, Amy takes advantage of her parents' trust when they go out of town.
She decided to throw a party. There was drinking. There was a lot of partying going on.
Jennifer brings along her handsome older friend, Ricky Cowles Jr. He is 20 years old and holds an adult job as an electrician.
He was intelligent and he was kind. He never met anyone that didn't like him because he had a really, really sweet personality.
Amy and Ricky lock eyes and are instantly smitten.
When he first met her, he was pretty happy.
He spent a lot of money on her all the time. So I'm sure she was very excited about having a boyfriend that could actually provide.
Despite the fact that Amy is only a sophomore in high school, she has her parents' blessing. And the young couple shacks up together. And their relationship is growing in more ways than one.
So at dinner, he gets this look on his face, and I'm like, what is wrong? Something's wrong, and he goes, well, Amy's pregnant. And I said, oh my God.
She was so young, and he was quite young too. But there was nothing we could do about it.
Soon, all of their lives will be turned upside down. And the summer ahead will be filled with more temptation than this teen mom can handle. In the summer of 1997, 16-year-old Amy Preasmyer is pregnant and living with her older boyfriend, Ricky.
Hey, girls.
That's a good stuff, right? Of course.
Soon after Amy and Ricky moved in together, the truth about Amy's lifestyle started to come out, and the fact that she loved to party and she loved to be with her friends. This didn't sit so well with Ricky. He was working all day.
Amy finds being pregnant really cuts into her busy social schedule.
She just wasn't happy with the way everything was going. She was putting on weight. She couldn't party as much.
No, I'm gonna have a drink.
Honey, no. Seriously, you're the one that's...
Having been held utterly unaccountable before, now she's responsible for another life. Her life was ruined as she saw it.
Aren't you with the baby?
See you later.
Okay, so you're gonna leave, real mature. Storm off like you always do.
By early August, Amy is bored with playing house. She invites her friends, Jennifer and Caitlin, to move in to keep her company.
I don't think Ricky ever agreed for her friends to move in. She just moved him in.
Hey!
What's going on?
I thought I told you Jennifer and Caitlin were moving in.
Yeah, no, we definitely didn't talk about this.
They were going to stay there for a little while, and a little while became too much longer than what he was expecting.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. Come on, guys.
Amy.
And as parenthood looms, arguments between Ricky and Amy become a regular thing.
The more Ricky tried to protect Amy, the more she fought him. The more she didn't want to be controlled or follow his rules. And her friends were always in the middle of it.
That's when he got mad and told them that they had to leave.
They're the only thing pulling you and I apart.
So he was being the mean guy by kicking him out. She got mad because she didn't think there was any problem with the other two girls living there.
I am an adult. I will do whatever.
At this point, Amy is completely miserable. She feels like her youth has been taken away. She feels controlled.
Ruin your life, but don't...
She's incredibly unhappy.
On August 9th, Ricky goes on a weekend trip with family to clear his head.
Oh my gosh, it is so nice not having Ricky around.
Oh my gosh, I know.
It's like he's always there nagging at me.
And with Ricky away, Amy plays. She throws a huge party in their apartment. Jennifer brings along an old friend, Billy Hoffman. At just 18, Billy has a tough reputation. Amy's ex is also in town, and she decides to take her wild weekend one step further.
She takes up in a sexualized relationship with a former boyfriend. That is Amy's way of telling us she's in it for herself. It doesn't matter who she's with, just so there's something in it for her.
While Amy and her ex canoodle, Ricky is doing some serious soul searching.
He said, I cannot handle her living with me anymore. She just is out of control.
Ricky decides to break up with Amy for his own sake.
He would always take care of the baby. That was never going to be a problem, but he was at the point where he didn't want to keep fighting and being manipulated.
But Ricky will never have the chance to deliver that news.
Ugh, I swear my neighbors think I'm probably getting murdered right now.
On August 12, 1997, after a weekend with family, Ricky Cowles Jr. has decided to break up with his pregnant girlfriend, Amy Preasmyer.
He knew that he loved this baby, and he knew that he loved Amy, but that the relationship wouldn't work.
Even on the phone, Amy can sense Ricky is pulling away. She anxiously suggests they talk that evening at their apartment in Lancaster.
My wife saw Ricky when he came to our house to say goodbye that night, just to go back to his apartment.
Bye, Mom, I love you, see you tomorrow. And that's it. He left.
When he arrives home, Amy is nowhere to be found.
He came home from work the way he usually did, walked in, and the door was unlocked.
Baffled, he heads up the stairs to his bedroom to take a shower.
The attacker stepped out and struck Ricky with a hammer in the back of the head.
What the hell?
The attacker at that point fired a shot.
Ricky is shot in the head at point-blank range.
The attacker struck him several more times in the head with the hammer.
A short time later, Amy comes home with her friends.
At that point, Amy goes up the steps, and she sees Ricky laid out on the floor, blood pouring from his head.
Ricky! Ricky, are you okay?
But he was still alive.
Oh God, we have to call 911.
They call 911 and police rush to the scene.
Paramedics arrive and the girls are hysterical in the background, especially Amy screaming and crying.
Okay, who shot you, Rich? No one did it? Who did it?
He is still slightly coherent and able to talk.
Who did it? Who shot you in the head?
But it's a little bit too late. He lost too much blood and he wasn't able to answer their questions.
Ricky's parents are heartbroken to see their son in agony.
We get into the door and I'm screaming hysterically because I see him. I don't know, I was not in this world. It's just unbelievable, the grief that we had.
Okay, this is the top of the flight.
Detectives survey the suspicious crime scene.
There was blood spatter on the wall.
Okay, it's going to be
25
auto, I believe.
There was one shell casing on the floor.
Yeah, get him out.
As he is airlifted to the hospital and rushed into surgery, Ricky falls into a coma. Days later, doctors tell Ricky's family he has no chance of recovery. Amy accepts the devastating news in her own way.
You promised me you would get me a car for my birthday, and then you didn't.
Why did you have to do this? Like, you're supposed to buy me a car for my birthday, you know, I don't understand what happened, what went wrong. Did I really hear her just say that?
Ricky Cowles Jr. dies on August 15th, just a few days after the attack.
We were devastated.
It's one thing to lose your child, but the way we lost him and how it all happened, and it was just because we both knew we'd lost something that we couldn't replace.
Everyone grieves in a different way, but days later, when some of Ricky's buddies spot Amy at a local fair with her friends, they are shocked by her behavior.
A lot of people saw her there and wondered why she could be out, pregnant and just losing her boyfriend so quickly and having a good time.
In early 1998, Amy gives birth to a healthy little girl, a bittersweet reminder of Ricky.
The baby was beautiful, and she just came into our lives, and everybody, I think they thought we just forgot about it, but we didn't forget about the murder.
I was heartbroken. For days I cried about, because here she was and I didn't have him, and it was horrible.
Police investigating Ricky's murder have little to go on until a tip comes in that someone is bragging about shooting him. And not just anyone. It's Jennifer and Amy's friend, Billy Hoffman.
He had a female coworker that he was kind of close to. And he told her all about it. He said, "You see that on the news and the paper?" Yeah, that was me. He told her what he did.
Billy's loose lips finally catch up with him, and in April of 1998, he is arrested for Ricky's murder. In the fall of 1999, Billy is put on trial and maintains his innocence, but the jury doesn't buy it.
Billy was convicted, and he went sent off to prison or life without parole.
But even with Ricky's killer behind bars, the Cowles can't shake the feeling that the murder was something much more personal. In the spring of 2002, Billy Hoffman is in prison for the murder of Ricky Cowles Jr. His former girlfriend, Amy Preasmyer, is happily raising her daughter.
She was a really good mother. She took really good care of her. And as far as that goes, we had a really good relationship with her.
If you could slap one character for their dumb decisions, who would it be? Huh? Go on. Vent in the comments. I can't wait to read.
Behind bars, Billy decides he has something he wants to get off his chest. And 5 years after their son is shot to death, the Cowles get a shocking surprise.
He wrote a letter to Rick and Debbie Cowles apologizing for his part in their son's murder, which would lead someone to believe that there were other people involved, which was already suspected.
And I'm reading it, crying the whole time, thinking, I can't believe this. By that time, we knew that Amy had something to do with it, but we didn't know what for sure.
He reveals to investigators that Amy and Jennifer approached him with an offer he couldn't refuse.
Hey, Billy. I was wondering if you could help me out with something.
Sure. What do you need?
You know Ricky, right?
They asked him if he would be willing to commit a murder and be paid for it. He agreed.
They offered him sex and drugs and alcohol and $300.
Yeah, no, I could totally.
Yeah?
They valued his life at $300. Somebody will kill for $300?
And during the weekend Ricky was away with his parents, Amy and Jennifer were finalizing their devious plan with Billy.
So they told Billy to hide in the bedroom, and when he'd come upstairs, to attack him and kill him.
On August 12th, the girls let Billy into the apartment. Amy left that evening, eager to start the rest of her life without Ricky.
Be honest. Did you watch the last scene through your fingers? Comment yes or no.
After a 3-year investigation, Amy Preasmyer and Jennifer Kellogg are arrested in the spring of 2005. The girls are thrown into a jail cell together, but don't know they are being secretly recorded. Amy can't keep her mouth shut.
She went on a 2 or 3 minute tirade about Billy Hoffman, what a punk he was. Her people would get to him.
But in court, she's far more subdued.
She didn't have any remorse. She hardly looked at us, ever. She kept her head down, never showed any emotion at all.
It turns out Amy had good reason to want Ricky gone for good. 1 million good reasons, and one very devious plan. Just weeks before the murder, Amy puts pressure on Ricky to get life insurance.
What happened to you? What would we do?
So she sees, oh, if I kill him, I have this $1 million life insurance policy. His family will take care of me and this baby for the rest of our lives.
But Ricky never got the life insurance, and Amy was left empty-handed. During trial, Jennifer Kellogg makes a deal and receives 17 years from the crime. And on July 30th, 2007, Amy Preasmyer is finally convicted for her role in Ricky's murder. She is sentenced to life in prison without parole. It's a very small price for taking Ricky away from his family.
Amy's had plenty of time to think about how bad she's messed up a lot of people's lives. A lot of people were affected by this. Her family, our family, baby.
Today, Ricky's parents are raising his daughter and keeping his loving memory alive.
We celebrate his life on his birthday every year, and we have a memorial to him, and it just helps to think of the good things. And, you know, we can't dwell on what would have been because we don't have that. You know, like he never was a father, he never was a husband. She took his adult life from us.